Yes, yes, yes. We are back. We are back. So called Black in America. I'm your host, Yakanan. And I told y'all I was coming back and I told y'all I was going to have a guest. And guess what? Yep, you're right. I got a guest for y'all. I got a guest for y'all. Listen, we were just talking and we were just talking about a few things. And she was just talking about she's never done anything like this. So listen, y'all be easy on her, and really y'all don't have any choice because this isn't a live show. So I'm gonna be the only one asking questions. So really, we're gonna have some fun. And as I mentioned to y'all on the last episode, if you didn't catch my last episode, I told y'all, it's a friend of mine. We've been friends for a couple of years, and we were just having a general conversation, just called each other, hey, how you doing? What you been up to? Blase, blase, whatever, whatever. And we got on a conversation, and I was just like, wait, stop. You know what? You want to be on the show? Let's talk about that. And she was just like, you know what? I never even did. How did I let you talk me into this? How did I let you talk me? So listen, we're gonna talk about it though. But she's a good friend, and I'm glad I was able to talk to her about it. And so we're gonna talk about some things and everything. And it's not gonna be a long show. It's gonna be a quick show and everything like that. And but we're gonna talk about something because I think that it's needed, and I want to get this out there. Okay. So, listen, if you haven't already, do me a favor, please, down at the bottom there, subscribe and like, okay, the show if you haven't already. All right. But listen, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring her along. Her name is Kim. I call her Kimberly. Listen, really good friend of mine. And without further ado, we're going to welcome her. And Kim, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
Right, right. I think you got a lag here, but it's okay. It's okay. And listen, go ahead and introduce yourself. Talk to the audience and tell us who you are and a little bit about yourself.
Yes, my name is Kimberly Denise. I am a native Floridian, born and raised. I work in the information technology space as an HR manager for information technology for the federal government. And I am looking forward to joining this show from time to time, giving a little insight on my journey in life, and hopefully it can help someone.
All right, there we go. There we go. Well, listen, I'm glad to have you. I really am. And like you said, it's going to be awesome having you on the show from time to time because you do have a lot of experience in the space that you mentioned as far as in the HR space, and you have a lot of important tips and suggestions that you can give people. So that's going to be exciting also. But the thing that we're going to talk about today the thing we're going to talk about today is very important because I think a lot of us end up doing this. And you ever find yourself overextending yourself? So, what do I mean by overextending yourself? What I mean is you find yourself doing for others so much, so much to the point to where you almost don't have time for yourself. And you're overextended, and even to the point to where people are not grateful, and you're not doing it for gratitude, you're just doing it because that's the type of person you are. But you're extending yourself so far out, even after there's no gratitude given or any thanks, and people are just taking advantage of you. But you find yourself continuously doing the same thing over and over and over again, and you end up let down, but you find yourself doing the same thing again. And we talked about that because, and I asked her a question, and well, I'm gonna let you talk about it, Kimberly. I'm gonna let you talk about it. I asked you that, and what was your response to that when we talked about that?
Yes, I am a offender of overextending myself and giving above and beyond the law allows, basically. The story that I shared with you was that I recently relocated back from the Washington, D.C. area to Daytona, which is where I reside. And I would say in a span of 6, 7 years, I've allowed 11 people to live with me.
Mm,
And of the 11, I only charged one for rent. So uh, I did it basically to give a hand up, if you will.
mm-hmm.
And our culture in general is not good at helping family and giving, without requirements and, the requirements of financial. Normally, people are making it a priority to pad their pocket. So when I
Right,
came back,
right.
I, overextended myself, allowed people to live with me. They all had a very unique situation. And unfortunately, when you overextend and you give more than you should, people take advantage of that. Today,
Mm-hmm.
I would say it's been 3 years since I let anyone live with me. And I absolutely have no desire to let that happen again. But of
Right.
those 11 people, only two of them call me even to say hello.
Wow, really? Wow. That's a shame. That's a shame. And I'm gonna ask you something I asked about because I wish we could duplicate the conversation we had because it was really deep and and it was really informational. But I asked you this question. I'm gonna ask you again. Do you think that the reason why you were so giving and overextending yourself and just to the point to where you realized that people were, I guess, lack of a better terminology, pretty much, not grateful, even family members and everything, just not grateful, not appreciative of what you were doing, but you kept doing it. Do you think that it was because you were compensating for something subconsciously that you were missing? Was it something that you were subconsciously trying to fill so badly, there was a space that you were missing to something that you really hadn't healed from, and keeping yourself busy was your way of not dealing with that?
Yes. The reason I did that, and I know it's just that natural generosity. And what I was missing in my life was the ability to have a child. So
Mm,
that mother hen uh,
mhm,
aspect of my life, I didn't
mhm,
have that opportunity to love and nurture a child. So
mhm,
instead, I experienced a transference. And that
mhm,
transference was to do everything I could for others that were in need. I go above and beyond, in an extreme way to help individuals that I find are going through something that could be tumultuous and that they need
mhm.
help. So it solely stems from me being an individual who's never been pregnant,
Right.
never really got to spend time with nieces or nephews. And
Mhm.
so I take family members and friends and do any and everything I can. I have one friend who refers to me as Kim Possible because if there's any way to make it happen, I will
Mhm.
jump through hoops, do a backflip, and do whatever it takes to help you if I can.
Right. And you will. I will say that about you. You are definitely that friend that will do whatever you can for a friend. You definitely will do that. So I could vouch for you on that one. And now let me ask, with that being said, do you still find yourself in that space to where you're going out? I mean, even to the point now, I think that that's become your nature. You're just a person that will go out. I think even if you did have children, I think you would still, I think that's part of your nature. But are you still in that space to where you are overly doing for people, even people that aren't grateful for you? Are you still in that space?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
We must learn and advance in life. And at some point, when you realize that you aren't appreciated, I have no regrets about helping any of the individuals that I let come into my home. Your home is a
Hmm.
sacred place. And
Definitely.
so I have no regrets about any of the individuals. I don't help everyone. You can't help everybody. My
True.
mom always had this saying, you can help some people some of the time, but not all people all the time. And
That's right.
so I was very selective. Although it was a high number of 11, I was selective and each of them needed my help.
Hmm.
Uh, would I do it today? No. So
Right.
I'm done with that.
Hmm.
Coming back to this area after 20 plus years of being gone, I just wanted that sense of family. And I was in
Hmm.
a very comfortable space where I was allowed to assist them, and I did. Would I do in the future? No.
Hmm.
I think a better solution, and what I've learned, is to provide a space where you can help someone help themselves. And it doesn't have to be in your own
Hmm.
space. We all have
Right.
boundaries and we have those parameters that we shouldn't cross. And
Right.
it's okay to help, but not overextend yourself to a point where it is affecting you in a bad way. So, your
Right.
time, you can't get back. Money
Right.
comes and goes.
Right.
But hopefully, people that have been through a similar situation, you get to some point where you just don't do it anymore, and you provide assistance in another way, and that's called good advice.
Right. Definitely. You hit two things that I want to talk about. One of the things you hit,
Hmm.
I mean, very important, boundaries, setting boundaries. In life, we definitely need to set boundaries. I think that's important in everything we do. We need to set boundaries. That's in relationships, friendships, uh, work on the job, everything. We definitely need to set boundaries in everything we do. And I think we need to understand and overstand how to set those certain boundaries. Some people don't realize what boundaries are, and some people don't get how to set boundaries. They don't understand what boundaries
Hmm.
are because they let people cross them all the time. So it's important that we start learning about what boundaries are and how to apply boundaries to your life and how to apply
Hmm.
boundaries in everything you do. You have to have boundaries, and you hit that right on point. That's the perfect word for that, boundaries. You know, the next thing I wanted to hit was, how do you think you overcame, or did you first realize what you were doing, or was it just a gradual, what, I have to stop this, or was it something that you went and talked to somebody about? How did you overcome that?
I didn't talk to anyone about it. I know that the halting point was the lack of appreciation.
Hmm.
And so when you get to that point where you're done and you realize, here we go again, I'm trying to help someone and they don't appreciate it. And, they leave and they don't really appreciate the value. I'll give you an
Hmm.
example, and this will be, I'll share one of the examples. I have a family member who was in foster home, and they didn't have that love of family and support growing up. So I let that person and their child and boyfriend move into my home. I let them use a car, an extra car, filled it up with gas. They didn't have to pay rent, utilities, nothing. And I got both of them jobs.
Hmm.
And not, I didn't hire them myself, but even found employment for them. And
Hmm.
at the point where you ask someone to take out the trash and they ask you why do they
Oh,
have to
wow.
take out the trash? Why does a man have to take out the trash? It's time to
Wow.
go. And you know
Right.
that you're not appreciated. So things will happen in your life where you know that you aren't being appreciated, and you don't have to necessarily talk to a therapist about it. It's just common sense. And you
Right.
know that you've crossed, you're at the end of the rainbow. So
Right.
there were events that happened that helped me realize that I was doing too much. And
Hmm.
when you overextend yourself too much and you are not appreciated, and appreciation means a lot to me.
Right.
I tell my employees that I appreciate them regularly. But when you aren't
Hmm.
appreciated, you know that everyone has that point where you know that you're doing too much and you don't want to go any further. So mine
Right.
was self induced, where I came to the realization that no more.
Right. Right. And let me ask you. So with me, because I've been in kind of situations like that, and with me, I think it was more of a learning my value in myself. Coming
Hmm.
into a self actualization and having a learning my self value. Do you think
Mhm.
with you it can be attributed to that as well, or to where it was more of a starting to value yourself a little bit more and a self actualization also? Would you attribute it to that as well, or do you think it was just learning? You know what? Enough is enough. I'm done.
Yes, I think it was a combination of both.
Hmm.
That's a really good question. Your instincts, I think, naturally kick in to protect you,
Hmm.
and so I would say it would be a good combination of both of those for me, where I needed to realize, Kimberly, you deserve better than this, you
Right.
know. And when I got to that point, I knew it was time.
Right. Right. And I think it's just really important that we had this talk, and I didn't want to keep it brief. I used to have like hour-long shows, and a lot of people were telling me, hey, the hour shows, they're great, but you just really have to find the time for them, and I just like to hit the points now, and I'm trying something new and everything, and hit the points and the topics and everything. And I just really wanted to get you on here to talk about that, because I think it's important that people realize, that everybody goes through something like this at some point in time in their life. But the thing that we have to remember is that you have to, at some point, also realize what it is that you're doing. Realize what it is that you're doing. And if you're burning the candle at both ends, the only thing that's going to burn out is you. You're the one that's going to burn out. And you have to realize what you're doing and stop, sit back, and ask yourself, am I overcompensating because I'm hiding from something, or I'm trying to, I'm trying to overcompensate for something else that's missing in my life? And if you are, it might be a situation to where you have to go talk to somebody. And that's something our community is getting a little bit better with, talking to somebody professionally. I will say that. So, that's awesome that we are, because it used to be a huge taboo. No, no. Oh, talk to somebody. What you mean? So we are, and there's nothing wrong with talking to someone. If you need to talk to someone, then talk to someone. Talk to a professional about it, and seek help about it, and let's get it out in the open. But if you don't, then come to a self actualization and a self worth, and realize that you are better than that situation. You are better than that, and you owe yourself more than that. Don't allow yourself to
Mhm.
be abused. Don't allow yourself to be taken advantage of. You're worth more than that. And that's by anybody. Doesn't matter whether it's by family members. Doesn't matter whether it's by friends, by supposed loved ones, or anything. You know, and you just have to remember, you have to value yourself, because if you can't value yourself, how can you value someone else? And that's the important thing,
I
because you
I
you
agree
have
with
to.
that. I
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
go
so
for it.
sorry. I
No,
do
no, go
agree
for it.
with that. I think the loneliness factor, and you really, actually, you helped me remember something. I remember growing up when I first moved away from home. I
Mhm.
did not like living alone. And so maybe loneliness was also a key component of, letting these people come in, so that
Mm,
I came from a small family.
okay.
And it was just my brother and I. So I didn't have a big family, and I was the oldest. So I think loneliness also contributed. And, my mom, she came from a family of 12,
Wow.
and they always had people around. So here I am,
Right.
just my brother and I. And then, growing up, I didn't have a lot of family around. My mom enjoyed her peace and quiet. So
Mhm.
loneliness definitely will contribute to an
Right.
individual allowing what I did, on another level. It's like an
Right.
open door. Oh, come on over and stay. It's all
Right.
right. You got
Definitely
something
will.
going on. Yes, so I think you hit the hammer on the nail. Loneliness will definitely have a person going above and beyond what's necessary, but I have learned from it. I built a foundation, where spiritually, emotionally, I am happy in my own space.
Awesome.
And I I don't even want children now. I don't want to adopt. I thought about that after having all
Mhm.
these people in my home.
Right.
So when you're lonely and you don't have companionship and friendship, you will do some
Mhm.
extreme things. So I've learned
Yeah.
from it, and happy that I have resolved that challenge in my life.
Awesome. 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 And that's important. Definitely important. You find what you need to do to resolve that, and you work towards it. Working towards it.
Yes.
That's part of that self-actualization, you know. Self-actualization,
Hmm.
very important. Very important. Kimberly, I really
Yes.
appreciate you coming on the show. I really do. Is there anything else you want to add before we get ready to get out of here? Anything you want to say?
No, I think that you were very insightful to what my situation was. I thank you for your gift of time, and look forward to your future topics.
Awesome, awesome. Listen, if there's any questions or anything that you think I might have missed, or just something you wanted me to, any topics you wanted me to hit with Kimberly, listen, put them in the comments. Put them in the comments because I'll be reading the comments. Kimberly will be in the comments. The show doesn't have to end. It could continue in the comments. So please hit the comments and listen. Don't forget, hit the like button if you like the show. Please subscribe and don't forget to hit the bell so that you can be notified anytime that there's a new episode comes out. You can hit the bell. All right. So listen, until next time, I appreciate you joining. I appreciate everything that you guys are doing as far as watching the show. And until next time, you know how I do. Love, peace, and hair grease.